Another video for you. I got a 2000 Surge Watch 1500 watt running watt Sportsman generator. Is a 4-cycle. Command 1 start, doesn't run. I did get it running again, but unfortunately, and the reason I'm making this video, I had a gasket laying around for that carburetor and I installed it, and apparently it didn't pay off, probably from moving it here. It's seeping gas. The thing works pretty good and stuff like that. So here's the question. This is probably a Chinesium generator, and is it worth fixing this thing? You know, it depends on how you value your money. You know, this thing here, I don't know, is this thing, I'll be honest, you know, show me in the comments, whatever. This thing might be, I don't know, $200, $300 tops. But I looked it up online, and that's where I could get the carburetor. Couldn't find the gasket, which was very interesting. But you can buy a carburetor. I think the cheapest one I saw was $9. And one with good reviews, which is the one I bought, was $14. So basically, for about 14 bucks, we got a carburetor, new fuel line, and a new fuel filter. Problem that I'm noticing with the fuel filter, and the fuel line, if you notice, that is not long enough. Now, with the benefit of this valve, get it in the camera here, this valve does have a screen in it. I've taken many of these apart, and some of them do get dirt in there where the valve is, and it does block them. And then some of them has the filter or screen going up inside the tank. Which one this is, I don't know, because you can't really see it, because your fuel fill is all over here, and this is right here, and of course, this has about half a tank of gas in it, so we don't want to mess with that. So we shut the fuel line off, and because of how I am in mechanics, I will put a better quality fuel line on, and I will install this fuel filter, somewhere probably right around there, just for an extra precaution, because I see all kinds of contaminants in these engines, whether it be a lawnmower, riding mower, what have you. You got to have some sort of kind of fuel filter on it. And I think even a filter like this is better than some of these screens, because some of the dirt, microscopic dirt, what happened to this thing? Microscopic dirt got inside this carburetor, blocked the jet up. I took it apart, got that all cleaned out with a needle, roughly the size of basically something like that, a dental hook. You can buy them online, Harbor Freight, what have you, and blocked it up. The customer said they used some kind of fuel stabilizer in it. I don't know what to say on that. Maybe I need to do a video on that, but there's all kinds of videos on YouTube about, different stabilizers. And me running out of gas. The benefit of this thing is it has a fuel shut it off. But that doesn't control dirt. What I find very interesting with this machine is it has a screen in it. So how is the dirt getting in there in the first place? This is a lot of questions that I do not have an answer for. So anyway, we're going to get this carburetor swapped out and have it ready to go. But to answer the question, is it worth fixing this thing? I think absolutely, because you'll pay a guy like me to do it, but I'll leave that off camera, for the customer's sake. But just think about it for a second. If you're a DIYer and can handle, which you'll see in a minute, how easy this is going to be to take apart. Take this all apart, swap out the carburetor. The air filter looks fine. Put it back on, and if you did it yourself, you'll have $14 in it and a little bit of your time. So anyway, let's get it started. we got this thing installed. A little troublesome with the fuel line because it's a oddball size, oddball clamps. Keep that in mind when you go to work on this yourself. I do think it was an idea to try and get that fuel filter in there. I used the piece of line that came with it, and then I had a good piece left over from another job. We put that on there, and then like I said, I had to finagle with the clamps. One tip for you: you always want to have a supply of, in my case anyway, I don't know about for you, have a supply of some clamps around. That was pretty cheap. I think it was, don't quote me on this, it might have been $10 for all those clamps. But in my case here, it was a good idea to have them in stock because they're varying size, varying hoses, stuff like that. Keep in mind that if you go to do your generator, you might have to keep that in mind and be prepared for that. So we'll turn some fuel on. What's nice about that clear filter, get it in the camera here, you can actually see the fuel coming in. I don't know how much is in this now. When I started with it, it had like a half a tank, and we ran it good and all that, cleaned some of it out and whatnot. And unfortunately, the carburetor started to leak. So hopefully we don't, there it is. We have that issue here. So let's double check the gas, and then let's fire this thing up. All right, let's see if it fires, and then we'll take it outside. All right, I guess we don't need to take it outside for the video. I would like to let it run for a while to double check everything, but basically this is how you replace the carburetor on a small little generator. Take a couple things in consideration. Like I said, fuel line can be a problem because of size. Fuel line size that I actually like to use is that. It's still 1/4 inch, but the outside I think is like 1/2 or 9/16. And sometimes with these smaller engines, it can be a problem to keep the fuel lines, from leaking. So keep that in mind. Had a little bit of struggle with that, but we got through it. But this is all tuned up. Did a service on it. Replaced the spark plug. Now we got a new carburetor, and I'm going to take this thing out, let it run, test it with a put a drill on it and see how it works, and we'll take the camera along too. All right, here we go. That drill is 7.5 amps, so I think that's a pretty good draw on a little generator like that, but as you can see, it did do it. All right, there we go. You did this yourself, If we count the carburetor replacement, doing a service, changing the oil, and putting a new spark plug in it, 20 bucks. It only held like 20 ounces of oil. So think about that. Again, I don't know what these cost without looking it up, and at this point it really doesn't matter. Simple and basic. Easy to save yourself some money, and no sense in buying new all the time. You should be able to fix it and keep it working yourself. But the one thing that did cause this thing's problem was the fuel sat in it for a couple of years. So one thing I would say, and I'm going to tell that to this customer, when he goes to put it away, turn that shutoff valve off and let the carburetor run out of gas. And you can use stabilizer if you want. Doesn't matter to me. I see all kinds that have stabilizer in. Some do not. One thing that I saw that works, and what you can see on my channel with the old trucks, I do run a lot of ethanol-free gas. I do see benefit to that. So, but anyway, this ends this video here. This is GMEC. Like, subscribe, and maybe you could drop me a comment. We'll keep in touch here. We're working on stuff like this. We'll keep going. We'll see you in the next video. And remember, keep on wrenching.